And good day, creators. How are you guys doing today? So today I am going to be making DIY clay, or how I usually call it before we all got into the DIY stuff, homemade clay. We're going to be using everyday toilet paper. You can find toilet paper anywhere. I think that's like the only thing other than diapers that everybody uses. So you're going to find it. So if you have any of those oops mistakes when you drop the toilet paper in the water or anything like that and it's still clean, go ahead and just let that dry out or not. It's all up to you, depending on what stages you would like to start it as. I actually collect the toilet paper rolls for videos like this, my crafting. Also, they're really great for survival kits, or what I use them for is fire starters. Really great. So I might have some of those videos for you guys as well. But this one's all about the clay. So we're going to be using the same ingredients as my recycled insulation, but I really wanted to test all the materials that we have so that we kind of see all of the different stages. So if you have something at home, you guys can use it. Now, if you're seeing my camera move, that is one of the cats, so nothing I can do about that guy. You will definitely see him. I have this set up so it's a little bit safer, so we won't have them. We'll never know. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll see you guys back in the next clip. And welcome back, guys. So we're in our next step. We are making the liquid starch out of 1 cup of water. I've already boiled this. It is at pretty lukewarm now. You can also microwave this, I would think about 3 minutes, depending on your microwave. And we're going to use 1 tablespoon of the cornstarch in there. So I mean, it's just pretty easy. You can find this at dollar stores. You can find this at any of your Walmarts, hence the brand. My cats are over there. And it's going to be very simple. Now you can also buy liquid starch already prepared in any of like the laundry detergent aisles. And that's it, guys. That's it. It is that simple. And I will catch you guys back on the next clip. And welcome back, guys. So we already have our liquid starch. How simple was that? I mean, really. Like I said, you can always go and pre-make it so you exactly know it's liquid starch. But I mean, it's just super simple. And if we're going to bake or use anything anyway, it's just easy to have. Do check out my porcelain clay, and it should be down in the videos if I don't have a link already for you. That also uses the cornstarch, and it comes out beautifully. It had some really good clays. So what we're going to use for this round of materials is everything you see here, plus the pot and the water. I went ahead and boiled 6 cups of water for this recipe here. I just want to have the boiled water just in case there's any bacteria or anything like that that comes out of here, comes out of the sinks. I just don't want to leave that extra because you just never know how long I'm going to keep something in the refrigerator. Especially with using the toilet papers that come off the rolls. We're clean, don't get me wrong, but we just want to be extra careful. Especially if you're going to have any of the kids using it or anything like that. It's just much more cleaner. We do be using some other items to help with the mold and all of that, but we'll get into that. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but hey, why not, right? So this is really great. So I have the 6 cups of water already boiled, and that's on the stove. So we'll bring that over, and we're going to actually keep it into this container here. This is just an everyday bucket I found outside, and this is what we're going to have go toilet paper, or we'll just say TP. We'll just say TP because every time I say toilet paper, it's just wrong pictures, guys. Wrong pictures. So we're going to have this in here, and we're going to let it sit for about 4 hours. That is what I've read for almost all of the recipes. This one's the first time doing it as this style, but as you can see in my videos that I hope you guys enjoy, It's not my first time trying to make this clay, but I have all the stuff, so it's going to be awesome. See, this is one right here. It's just what I'm going to use. It fell into the sink, which is not the big of a deal since, well, I'm a clean freak when it comes to certain things. And I just tried that out, put it away, and we're going to use it for this one. Alright, so we also, this is just a little mesh screen that you can find anywhere. You can also use window screens. You can find them at any Lowe's, hardware stores, or use any of the meshes that you can find at the dollar stores, basically anything. I do have a lot more tips and hints and stuff like that for any of these processes, and that is going to be so much fun to do. So like I said, you guys can find these anywhere. So you know what, stop talking, let's get into this. It's just so much cool. I did weigh the toilet paper. A normal roll, at least this normal roll that I will not be using because we don't need it, weighed 2.9 ounces. I will have all of the information with the ingredients and all of that down below. I try to be good with that because I know how hard it is. Just, yeah, we do. So that was about 2.9 ounces. So that was really great to just have like an everyday roll to check on it. Because this came up to 4 ounces here, and this is just like, as you can see, barely anything. I wanted a little bit more, just to make sure we had the consistency, since I am adding liquid to the recipe compared to the recipes that I've been finding. So this is kind of my homegrown one. It's just nice to be able to have the internet to be able to grab everything. I'm using pine salt. This is for a lot of reasons. One, it kills mold. Definitely read your warnings and all of that before you touch anything to see how it's going to react to you. But I like this because it's pretty safe compared to anything else in the world, right? I'm going to be using 2 tablespoons, or usually 2 caps of this. And it also helps with the mold, it helps with the mildew, it helps with the bacteria that also grows in there. And plus, it just smells nice when you're working with that. It just kind of gives you aroma. It's going to really nice. It's going to help. Then you're going to be using salt. This is also to help with the mold and bacteria and all of that stuff that grows in there. I like to use 1 tablespoon of salt to 1 cup of flour. And that's how I kind of use the ratio on that one. Then the magic word, flour. This recipe here is actually just going to be half a cup of flour. And so that's going to be really great because, like I said, I wanted to make sure that all my recipes use the same materials so that I can see the same consistency and work with it all together to kind of give you guys an idea what you're going to work with if you guys choose any of these. Because that's the fun part. Wooden spoon, we always have to get these. These are the dollar store. By the way, you can, of course, you know, great brand. I know I didn't say that correct, but that's right. We have the flour you can get at the dollar stores, Dollar Generals, any grocery store like that. Get the cheap stuff, honestly, because it's not going to go in your mouth, so you don't need the great stuff, right? And then just your handy dandy everyday scissors. I mean, and I keep stuffing myself in my face. Okay. And your handy dandy everyday scissors. Once again, Walmart, dollar store, anywhere basically. So yes, it's a good one, right? So, and that is basically everything you see here, other than these 6 cups of water that I will be pouring into this. And I'll see you guys in a second. And welcome back. So as you can see, we have a whole bunch of new items on the table, which is meaning we're on our next step. So like I mentioned before, we're just going to use this. I'm going to be careful because it does have magnetic strips on them that I have not taken off yet. But I hope to use those for further thing. As you can tell, this is super hot, so please be careful. I need to actually pay attention since I do talk with my hands. So you're just going to go ahead and take this or any other mash that you find. And we're just going to go ahead and coat our little thing here. I'm actually just going to move this. This is 6 cups of boiling water, so always be careful when you're doing that. You can also just use lukewarm water or anything like that, because by the time that you're done, it's all going to be cold anyway. So yeah, so go ahead and move this there. bring our bucket over in our mesh. Now when you do try to cover your buckets, I'm just going to go ahead and, ooh, hi. I'm just going to go ahead and try not to get these inside of the thing and kind of keep a pocket is what I'm trying to say, is a pocket. I'm trying to keep a pocket inside of there. So when I pour the water and the toilet paper into this, because we're going to tear it up and let it soak for 4 hours, and then we're going to bring it back and make a slushy flurry, which does not taste good at all, probably. I don't know. Please don't tell me if you guys rate that. I don't want to know. So yeah, so we're going to go ahead and get this started, and this right here, I do believe I'm going to have a link or a picture in the video for you. And this is just everyday paper. I believe this weighed 2.8 ounces or 2.9 ounces, and the original toilet paper weighed 2.6 ounces. So I believe I actually said it was like an ounce or 0.1 ounce or something like that off. So like pieces like this, you can go ahead and tear up. This is very dusty, so you do want to pay attention to that when you kind of do this. So if you have anything that's important, that you don't get a whole bunch of dust on it. Now all of this toilet paper is clean. It's just what I've collected over the years. For a year. We haven't gone past Christmas too much. I mean, we have like a few more months until winter comes again. It was like, oh, let's get in there. Now with the toilet paper on the rolls, you can just go ahead and, it depends on if you want to keep the cardboard inside or not. But usually it has a little tab that you can start, pulling them into. Or you can just basically throw the whole thing in there as a one-piecer. Oh, that's all too. I don't want cardboard in this one. I'm just trying to go, with this recipe here. I will try to do another recipe maybe with the cardboard to see how that interacts with it. Love these scissors, man. Love them. There we go. Easy peasy. Alright, so we're going to pull these off, and now as you can see, that's just really nice strips. So if you want to do any other type of crafting with those, are perfect strips. And I'm actually just going to make those into the sides so it kind of soaks up all the corners here. Alright, now if you're dealing with super hot water, it is always great to go ahead and touch, I'm not sure if you could, just 1, 2, 3 seconds, super fast if you know that it's hotter, but usually you can tell before you even get close to it. Okay, I have my little gloves. Dollar store favorite. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and pour this over the top. Do remember that any of the water that you press into this will bring that down, which I wanted to. Actually, I wanted to just soak in with the water. 6 cups. Now with this, we're going to go ahead and kind of make it into a little pocket. And then just make sure that all of the corners like these are up so that none of the corners are actually pouring over, because this will get pretty mushy. So yeah, and that's where I want to use, you can see these, that's why I want to use these here to kind of give myself a little bit of a container using with the mesh. You can also use zip ties, hair ties, or anything else that you have lying around. Little stragglers there. It does get pretty messy, but we all know that crafting is not a clean hobby. And we're just going to go ahead and let that sit for a little bit. And I'll see you guys in the next clip. Let this all get on the glue. And I'll see you guys back in 4 hours when we start with the whole mess. And it's going to be so much fun. And I can't wait to see what you guys create with it. So that's the fun of all of this. So see you guys in the next step. Bye. So I went ahead and let this sit overnight. So you can, for the toilet paper, you could probably leave it about 4 to 6 hours. We will be using our handy dandy mixers here to kind of get it in the form of goulash. I don't know why I said goulash that way, but I heard someone say it, so now it's like stuck in my head. So we're gonna do it, we're gonna make this stuff. This is the first time I've done it with these two, so we're gonna have some fun. We also have the rest of our ingredients. We're gonna use the half a cup of the flour. We're gonna use a tablespoon of the salt, we're just gonna cut this down to 1 tablespoon of the pine salt. Since we also will be using the salt and the pine salt along with everything else, we're going to be using 3/4 cup of the glue, and yeah, it's going to be so much fun. And we'll get started. Okay, and since we have this in here, we're just going to make a big old mess. I'm just going to rest this onto the little lip there. Let's go ahead and pull this out. Now you can reuse the water that you had in here already. I'm just going to go ahead and put some fresh stuff in here. This has been sitting overnight, even though it's clean. Which, if you think about it, the newspaper is actually the dirtiest paper of all of these. See, I mean, how nice is that? So no matter how big of a load you have, as long as it's wide enough to cover the edges, you're good. Sweet. And I mean, that's going to be easy to hand out. Just hang it up outside. Well, dandy. And we have a big old bucket of water to water our plants. So next we're going to end up with this big ball of, it's actually pretty dry if you think about what you expect for toilet paper to be gooped up for quite some time. So just go ahead and break that up with your hands. Once again, you can use scissors or just put on one of your favorite shows, pop on some music. We're also going to be using 1/2 cup of the liquid cornstarch. I actually just put this back into the microwave. My microwave has a little coffee cup mug, and that's for 2 minutes. Do remember, if you're going to put anything like this that you recycle, to make sure there is no metal baked into any of the items. And just shake it up really good. And that was super easy. Alright, so we've subtracted the water from our TP. Now we're just going to go ahead and put it in here. I'm actually going to do this in a few loads, just because I don't want to overload any of my items here. Oop. You are going to get messy, and you can tell I've been around. I have hair all over the place. So go ahead and set that right next there. Try to get it as broken up as you are able to. The less clumps this has to deal with, even though I know it works with ice and all of that, this is more fiber based. So that's about, give or take, half of what I have in here. Alright, so my handy dandy, not the correct lid. Go ahead and add some water. This is just plain everyday water that I've boiled. And find the setting that you like the best and just start having fun. Now I will be muting this because it is pretty loud. So I'll see you guys after I make the slushy and the fun goop it's gonna come out of the fair with. Okay, so I have our little mush here. Didn't take that long in the blender, but to tell you the truth, I don't like this process. So you might actually like it If we get a different blender for my crafting projects, I think that'd be awesome. Let's look back. That was Jules. As you can see, it did get a really good pulp. Is what this is actually called. Is you just made the pulp with it. Pulp for this. And that actually did work out. Remember when you're putting your hands in anything, look before you touch. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is actually leave both of those consistencies in there for the clay, because it will be mixed in a lot more with our hand blender. Let's go ahead and mix this up so we can get all of those wet ingredients in here to soak up some of this water. Now, if you're just joining me, all I've done so far is take the toilet paper apart, put hot water in it, let it sit overnight or up to 4 to 6 hours, depending on what you feel that you need to have the consistency to be. That's it. Oh, and a lot of talking. So we got that into a good mush. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our handy dandy items and get started. So we have our 1 cupper here. Always open away from you. I'm actually going to grab this because I need 1/2 cup, and this is our liquid starch. So that's going to be up to the 4. And then what I'm going to also bring over is 3 scoops of this. This is actually 1 cup of the compound, which is this right here. And I'll have all the information down below as well. And so if you see me kind of plopping in something with the pink lid, you know what that is. I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of the pine salt. I never did open that correctly. I just wanted to make sure it had a double lid. So 1. And that's for molds, for smells. Oh, it's going to be so nice because if it hits any of the sun, it's just going to be nice. And can you say, Kat, where did you put it? We're going to do 1 tablespoon of the salt. I did change that. I believe I was saying it was going to be a teaspoon. You know, you just never can be too careful, and it is just salt, to tell you. You know, it's just. Now our handy dandy glue. You can pick this up anywhere. Dollar Tree also carries it, or we can make our own homemade glue, which is down below in the videos as well. We made it with whole wheat, and that's going to be 1 cup of this. And we're only going to do 1/2 cup of the flour, or as much as you feel that the consistency actually needs. If you do, you can also add water to this. I've got 1/2 cup of the flour. Let's go ahead and make sure all of that is out of there. We do all need all of our ingredients, right? Or why are we wasting it? Now the only thing we need to add is the joint compound, which is going to be 3 scoops of this. I just got this out of my laundry detergent. And yeah, and I'll see you guys in 1 sec. So we're back. As you can see, it is still pretty goopy. Someone actually said it looked like a tuna salad sandwich or just a tuna sandwich or something like that, and I totally agree. I'm just happy it doesn't have to smell like it, right? So I did go ahead and add 3.5 cups of flour, bringing that to a maximum of 4 cups so far. With those 3 cups, of flour, I added 2 tablespoons of the salt, bringing that up to a total of 3 tablespoons. I will have all of the correct ingredients at the beginning, so you guys should definitely have all of that for you. You guys are probably thinking, why does she keep changing the recipe on me? No, it's the beginning one. Sorry guys. I'll try to have a disclaimer. We do have some more flour, so I'll be adding about a cup to a half a cup at a time, just to see how I like the consistency. This clay as it will be able to be used in different types of clay materials that I want to try. It's just really, it's not a consistency I can work with for what I'm planning. So that's that. What I think could fix this problem was when I was doing the blender is I added too much water to the mix, where I should have just added a little bit at a time, making smaller batches. So that is an idea I can definitely work with. So try to keep up with the more maximum water, especially with your adding items like the liquid starch and all of that. So we're going ahead and not put it in there. Go ahead and do that. I'm just going to go ahead and grab 1 more cup of the flour. This is exactly the same batch as the bag, I just have it in the container. I'm just going to go ahead and grab this, kind of get it a little worked in there. Yeah, I think the blender will a little bit be killed for this one. Now you want to get this to where you're actually able to knead it, like if you're doing a dough batter. Or at least in that kind of consistency. You'll see it when you get there. What you want to be able to do as well is make a clay that's not really thick and so pliable. But you can always stop at any point during the process until it gets too hard, and then you're just working with flour. And it is air drying clay. Almost all of the clays that I'm doing will be. So if you do leave it out, like let's say this one here, I didn't have the extra flour, I would have just left it out for a few hours here and there, mixing it so all the juices kind of stay together so it dries evenly. And then when it got to the consistency that I liked, I would have just bagged it up and put it away. I believe that this recipe here will last about 3 weeks in the refrigerator. I'm not sure yet, since my clay has never lasted that long. And also I am taking the extra steps so that I don't get the mold, I don't get the mildew, I don't get all of that extra stuff that comes with homemade stuff. So yeah. Yes, right now it's almost at the first stages of bread. If you've ever made that at home, it's really fun and simple. And plus, the taste and smell of a house when you're baking bread, that is just wonderful, I'm telling you. So that's about where I'm at right now, is about the consistency of bread. So that's bringing our total of 5 cups of the flour so far. Honestly, so far that's one less than the paper insulation. But I am still getting quite a lot of clay out of this. And that was give or take 2 rolls if you think about the size difference. Unless you have the good stuff, and then that stuff is heavy duty. I was just using the everyday style items. But see how that's still super wet? There's no way I can form anything on that. So we'll just go ahead and add one more cup. And I'm actually adding less, not a full cup, but I'm going to keep it as 1 cup and go on that way. Unless I know that it's a half a cup, and then I'll give you guys the good stuff. And then you can play with it how you like when you get your hands dirty. Go. Still very goopy. If this one doesn't work, I am done. And this is going to be another type of play, people. Because honestly, would I make this again? This one, no. If I needed to, in a pinch, and I needed more of a wet clay, definitely give it a try. If you can master this, definitely let me know, and we'll, see what we can come up with together, or you can have some fun and try it at home. You probably would get this done like the first round. But I mean, so far it does feel clean, which if you guys have watched any of these, you notice that's like one of the things. Like, it does feel clean. It's not lumpy. It's just really still wet. And I'm using exactly the same amount as I would be with the recycled insulation clay. And I'm not putting that back in there because my hands have just been all over it. So yes, if you guys don't have the insulation, you can use paper, to the toilet paper. And so far I'm using exactly the same amount as everything else, except for I used half the cup of the cornstarch. So yeah, so I used half the cup of the cornstarch instead of the whole cup that I used for my last recipe for that. And with this, I'm actually just going to be pouring. I know I'm not giving you, let's see what I can find. Hold on. Okay, so I have the 1 tablespoon, and I believe I'm going to actually add 3 tablespoons of the salt, just to kind of help counteract with all of the, yes, I know I'm not pouring this right, but that's just because my hands are like super wet. So that was 1. As you can see, as it's starting to coat it, I'll show a picture of what it looks like at this stage. 2, we'll just add 3. Bringing that a total of 6 tablespoons of the salt so far. Yeah, we'll leave that. I'm not sure if you guys can actually see that rim that this lovely clay has been making. Oh, yeah. It's starting to fly everywhere, but that's okay. Trying to get all of that. So this is it. We have it done. It's still not a consistency that would be great for molding clay, but for more of a paste-like clay, this is great. As you can see, it is still pretty wet. I mean, it's still pretty pretty wet and sticky. So let's go ahead and grab some of just the top. It's starting to actually be moldable. That's awesome. But it is still pretty dough-like. That's what I'm looking for, is the word. It is pretty dough-like. It can, I will definitely show you a picture of my little salt container. Who knows what's going to happen with that one. So yeah, so that's great. I'm going to go ahead and leave this out to air dry just a little bit, since I did add a little bit too much liquid to this recipe. So that's great. This is actually going to be put to good use, and I will make sure I label all of the videos to let you guys know what clays I'm working with, so you can always go back and see how they're created. So if you know in the future if I'm making something, I'm always going to be able to let you guys know, hey, if you want to do this yourself, everything's somewhere. I can't always remember, but hey, we try, right? So this is about what you're looking at. I'm trying not to get both my hands too goopy or doughy. So yeah, it's going to be great. And that is still pretty pliable. I don't have anything offhand on my desk that I'm willing to sacrifice for a show and tell. But that's not too bad. I want to have some fun with the clays. But this would be great for texturing walls or bases or anything like that. Since it's, I mean, that's pretty thick. You don't want something like that. Just enough to cover the layer that you're working with. And it does smooth out. There's no chunks in it or anything like that. For the ingredients, I would suggest less water, for sure. Maybe a little bit, start out with 2 cups of flour. So that would be 2 tablespoons of your salt. And just work with it within there. And if you need to add the more flour, you can. And just kind of get it to the consistency that you need. Do remember that this is air drying clay, so the more you have it out, the more the liquids are going to evaporate and get hardened. Because that's how it dries, and that's how we're going to get this. But also, if it does dry out too much, there is a no turning point. I mean, y'all know that when it comes to anything. But you can always add more water to it if you need to get it more workable for you. And yeah, it's great. So we're going to learn all of this together. So it's going to be so much fun. This is not what I was hoping for, but to tell you the truth, looking at everybody else's recipes and sculptures and all of that, this is what they had. When I was actually picturing more of the hardened molding clay compared to more of a, I'm just calling it a paste clay, guys. So we'll know what I'm talking about when I say more of a paste clay. But I'll keep you guys all up to date. I hope you guys enjoyed this video at least. I should have some bloopers up on Twitter or on Facebook. Any of those. There's been quite some few with this recipe. As you can see, I cannot stop touching it. It's just going to be so much fun to play with. Alright guys, you have a great one. Thank you so much for watching. And remember always, happy crafting. And we're ended up with, look at how much that is! 2 toilet paper rolls, that's it. And I'll have all the ways and all of the updated information on the extra flours, the extra salt, all of that down below. And you guys have a great one. Bye.